Car fix back. Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of First Canada Live. It's the middle of November and we're here for a good time. We've got a lot coming on today's show, so we might as well just get things started right away. First off, I'd like to introduce our co-host for tonight's show from the First Canada Youth Council and First Team 1305 Ice Cube. We have Michelle D. What up, Michelle?
Hi, what's up, Karthi?
Not much. I'm excited for you to be here today. Are you excited for the show?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I can't get over that introduction, that intro. It's so cool.
It's cool. We changed it up a little bit this time. The Twitch police were onto us and whatever, so we changed up the music. But it's good. It's fun. It's energy. The band's going. You can see all the mosaic of all the guests who've been on the show. It's all pretty good. And First Canada Live is the show where we come together with different personalities from our community to talk about robots, stories, community initiatives. And like tonight, we've got like a cool cross section of all of it. We've got the Kahoot challenges back. Have you been playing along to the Kahoot challenges, Michelle?
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah. How have you been doing?
Not too well, but I'm trying my best.
Well, you're still new. Like you still technically have not been to an FRC event, right?
No, yeah, that's true. Just come up on my first year, just crossed that.
Right, but you picked up a lot that first year, so we're excited to have you here. But yeah, we got the Kahoot challenge. Our champion Miki Corneil is back, and she's up against the challenger Brennan Bibic. So that one is going to be really interesting. FTC Sim, we're going to learn a lot about how FTC Sim works with Paul Keenan. That's Swaggy P for most of you who know him that way, along with some youth council members and Dean's List winners to talk about that. And of course, Team 771 is here to talk about Swapposium. So lots of good stuff happening. Throughout the show, if you got any questions, post them in the chat. We'll do our best to get to them. And remember, we're here to celebrate what's positive and good in our community. So let's keep our energy high and let's be positive in the chat as well. So now it's time for our Youth Council Wellness Moment. And Michelle, I hear you've got some cool stuff to show us about wellness.
Yeah, I do. So tonight I'd really like to talk about hobbies. So hobbies are a really great way to de-stress, relax, do something kind of purposeful with your time, have a product created at the end or something like that. And it can help you find new interests as well. So for me, I recently started knitting. So I have my knitting basket here. Woohoo! So knitting.
Oh, that's sweet. How many colors you got there? I see like a blue, purple, like a red,
blue, purple, pinks,
white,
brown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And knitting is super fun for me, especially because I do like doing repeated things. So I can really relax. You don't have to think too much about it, but you're still doing something interesting. So I just finished one of my first projects, which is a cute little bag. And woohoo, I can put my little secrets in here.
Ooh,
and yeah, and I also have done this pattern. So this was pretty complicated. But when I just started out, I just started practicing. So here was like my first thing. I still have it going in case I want to try out new patterns. And you can see it's kind of rough, but no one starts perfect. And really, that's why knitting and hobbies are such a great thing. You get to reach out, extend yourself, and try new things. So if you're looking for a new hobby, definitely try knitting. And really, hobbies are just a great way to improve your day, relax after a great day, and have a good time and make something at the end. Be creative.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with hobbies, because like last week, Emiko talked a little bit about meditation and just kind of, zone, getting into your zone. And I think sometimes like you spend so much time on school or like, firsters, like our audience spends so much time on robots. It's nice to have something that's not school, not work, not robots that you can just kind of, do. And it's like, there's no stress to it. It's like, oh, I just do this on my own time, on my own schedule. And like everyone has like different projects or whatever. I know I love to read. Like that's a big thing for me. And I'll pick a topic and dive into it. And so like, yeah, the knitting one, that sounds great. And also it keeps your hands busy. Like I'm someone who always with my hands. So that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Michelle. The Youth Council every week is going to be giving us like a little wellness moment. So that's cool. And the next week, I think Julia is going to have a cool one for us. So
Mhm.
The whole concept of the wellness moment, I think was that your idea or was that Julia's idea? It was like one of you two, right?
Yeah, we came up with it together.
Yeah, so it's gonna be we'll have a really good one. Now it's time for some news updates. So let's see what's going on in the news in the first Canada world. And one of the things that's happening is, Michelle, what grade are you in? Grade 11, grade 12?
I'm in grade 11.
Grade 11. So you started thinking about colleges and universities a little bit?
Yeah, thinking about it.
Well, you know, a
Mhm.
lot of First Canada's partnered with a lot of colleges and universities. They host many of our events, and a lot of them, because of the pandemic, you know, can't have like the traditional open houses that you would normally have, where you go to the campus and see what's going on. So they got virtual open houses, and we got a couple going on this weekend that we'd like to talk about. So first off, York University has their virtual open house running on November 21st and November 22nd. Check out futurestudents.yorku.ca. One of our moderators will dump that into the chat. And this is a great place to go. Go to the website, sign up, and you to the York Virtual Open House, and you can see all sorts of good stuff. They got FAQs. You learn about the campus. You can see what things are like, and it's it's really important because I know for like a lot of firsters, like one of the things they like about going to events is like most of our events are on a university or college campus, so you get to see it and see. And the amount of people I've heard of is like, yeah, I went to like the Durham College event, and that's why I wanted to go to Durham College. So try these virtual open houses. I think they'll be cool. And the next one we've got is the St. Clair College Virtual Open House happening on November 21st. St. Clair College, a lot of people don't know because the event's called the Windsor Essex Great Lakes District event, but it actually takes place on the campus of St. Clair College, you know, and Windsor and St. Clair, like they're right beside each other and all. And so that is a really, really cool one. So discover stclaircollege.com/register. And like this is like a really nice campus. I've been there a few times. I like it. Have you been to either of these campuses before, Michelle?
No, I haven't, but my dad did go to York University, so that
Oh,
would be
did
a
he?
good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there you go. Go to York University so you can be like Michelle's dad. That should be the slogan. I'm down with it. So, you know, that's one thing that's going on this week. And the other thing is the Recharge Your Bot challenges are still open and there's still plenty of time to submit. Submission deadline is November 30th. So that's coming up pretty soon, but there's still time to do some of these. Michelle, you've worked on some of these with the Youth Council, right?
I have, and with
How
my team as well. Yeah.
Also your team, because I saw your team 1305. I saw the one, it was it the trick shot challenge or was it robot reels?
We've
I
done
saw the one with
the
the dog. I saw the one with the dog.
yeah.
So yeah, you had I think it was like the trick shot challenge human edition, but it's more like the canine edition, I guess, for you. And they had the dog doing trick shots with the game pieces or whatever. But like, how long did that take for you all to put together?
Well, I know during our youth council meeting, we put one together in under 30 minutes, and it's super fast. And if you could spend more time on it if you want, but you could also do it in under half an hour or even less if you just gotta. It's only like a 15-second video or so, you know.
Yeah, and like
So
the cool thing is like for some of the challenges, I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, the trick shot challenge with the robot seems so cool, but like we don't have access to our robot. That's okay because you know what you could do? You could find footage of your robot from earlier this season or from past games doing really cool shots and assemble it into a video, make it like a highlight montage, set it to music, and there you go. You got a a trick shot challenge human edition. Robot edition. Oh my goodness. Trick shot challenge robot edition. So like there's lots of things to do. Prizes are massive. You can win up to $1,000 off of registration, but every entry in a category is worth one draw for a raffle for, I believe, $500 of First Canada swag. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can get there. And speaking of First Canada swag, Michelle, did you see my new shirt? It's the
yeah,
First Canada
I got the
PR
same one.
shirt. You
We're
got one?
matching today. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Look at
Woohoo.
that. We're the team right here. So this is like, I think the coolest. The provincial championship shirt we had a couple years ago was really nice too. But like this is like maybe my favorite First Canada piece of swag. So like this is super cool, and this is going to be available to people who participate in any of our virtual events. Michelle, I guess you got it because you participated in a virtual event earlier and you were on the show before, and so yeah, like this is another reason get involved with these virtual events. Also on December 5th, we've got the FLL Challenge practice event showcase that's going to be broadcast on Twitch. So during the week, teams will be doing the robot runs. They're going to submit them, and then referees will score them, and they'll be interviewing with judges during the week. And then we're going to have like a couple-hour show showing off some of the best matches and best presentations, so everyone can see what's going on with FLL. And this is just a practice because their main events are going to be happening in February, March, but it's to get everything going right now. So, did you ever do FLL, Michelle?
No, I didn't.
Oh no. So have you been to an FLL event?
I have. I volunteered
Okay.
at one. Yeah.
All right. So what did you think of that whole experience?
Oh, it was so fun. I did the practice tables and seeing how all the kids would work together and all their cool robots. Like some people, like they all had really epic robots. So that was really great to see. I really loved it.
Yeah, FLL Challenge. I mean, all the programs are cool, but FLL Challenge is one of my favorite ones because, like, you get like these kids who are just super passionate and energetic about robots, and then you see like their creations, and then they do these presentations on like trying to solve a real world problem. And so the showcase, we're like, there's nothing quite like going to an FLL Challenge event. You walk in and like you're instantly inspired, and we're gonna try whatever we can with these remote and virtual events to get some of that inspiration spread because, like, people need it. Like, this is all really good stuff. So yeah, really excited to see how everything goes this season, and it's gonna be interesting, that's for sure. Michelle, what are you most excited about today's show?
Well, how can I choose?
I know.
I know I'm really excited to see the FTC Sim. I think that's going to be really cool to see them do it live, get some insight on how the minds of the coders work. I think that'll be very cool.
Yeah, one of the things that really excites me about FTC Sim is it like, because coding can be like intimidating and kind of scary, but like they've really made it so like it feels like you're programming an FTC robot, but you're doing like puzzles and challenges, which is like it's like a game almost, but except you're actually like programming. And so I don't know, I think it's a really cool way to learn. So I think we're gonna see it's gonna be fun. And we got some like real experts coming on, some of your fellow youth council members, and we've also got an FTC Dean's List winner. So we got like expertise all about. But I think it's time that we get ready for our next segment. But before we do that, let's take a look at a video from one of our sponsors. And actually, this sponsor, 3M, is judging the Recharge Your Bot Challenges, Trick Shot Challenge Robot Edition. So, they're going to be taking a look at all your videos. So you want to come up with something to impress them. So let's take a look at this work from 3M.
So first robotics competition is the epitome of the robotics competitions here in Canada. It's an opportunity for high school students to get involved in the engineering design of an entire robotics system.
People think robotics is all about building the robot, right? But building the robot is only half the challenge. Building the robot is actually a vehicle for you to build your own self.
For our Canadian manufacturers to stay competitive, there's a lot of automation and robotics that have to go into our manufacturing facilities. So the skills that the kids are learning in this competition hit that mark spot on.
There's definitely the technical ones. I've learned how to do CAD design. I've learned how to work machines. But one of the really, really big ones that I really like is and I think it's really important in this world, is I've learned how to work with a team. Without being able to work as a team going into industry, it's not going to work out.
There are absolutely skills that the students are using today that are things that we use in professional careers that have to do with STEM. They are learning how to communicate. They're learning how to collaborate. They're learning how to think outside the box so that they're not limiting themselves to one thing. They're getting to do coding, marketing, design, engineering, science, the whole 9 yards all together.
It really teaches you all these different skills that you wouldn't think that you would know. It teaches you, how to work with other people, how to do soft skills, communication, teamwork, leadership, all that kind of stuff.
Some of our alumni have gone on to receive excellent scholarships at top-tier universities, and because of that, they've started getting known well by top-tier companies, which allows our brand to carry on as they work for large technological companies in the programming sector, in the automation sector. It's really interesting to see where we end up.
Hey, we're back. Thank you to 3M for all the support. Michelle, did you just put glasses on?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. It's like, it was almost like that Superman Clark Kent sort of deal. It's like, who is this person? I don't even know what's going on. But yeah. Thank you to 3M for all the support. And now it's time for our next segment. So Michelle, just a few weeks ago, or maybe it's like a months ago now. Like time just kind of flies. You were involved with the Team 1305 Gateway conferences, right? And so today we're going to be talking about Team 771's conferences, Swapposium. So I'd like to welcome on Sam T and Joanna V. Sam is a grade 11 student, 4th year on the team, and co-captain of SWAT 771 and a chairman's presenter. While we have Joanna, who's a grade 10 student, been on SWAT for 3 years as a member of the electrical sub-team. So hello, Sam and Joanna.
Hi, thanks so much for having us.
Well, no, thank you for being here, and we're excited to hear about Swapposium because we know it's like something that people get excited about every year. But forget about me talking about it. One of you tell us a little bit about Swapposium.
Sure. So it's our 10th year running the event, which is very exciting. It's always been an in-person day, so virtually this year, but we're still having incredible workshops and panels from team members, alum, mentors, from a whole bunch of first teams and some industry professionals as well that are going to give us some incredibly insightful workshops, and you really get to attend a variety of them throughout the day. There's also social aspects that it's really exciting. And so we're trying to hold on to that kind of special stuff that you get in person and try to do that as much as we can virtually. So I'm very excited. I know our team is very excited, and we're excited for all the presenters we're going to have and to attend and everyone to kind of just learn a bit.
That sounds great. But so my first question is, when's it taking place?
It's taking place on November 28th.
Okay, so that's coming up soon. It's like a week and a half. And where do teams go to get more information? Because we don't want to lose track of that.
So all the information we have at the moment is posted on our social media. It's not much. So we're finalizing our schedule. Our day is going to run from 10:15 to 1:15. And so all of our information, we're going to release all of the workshops as well as descriptions of the workshops, little presenter bios, so everyone can kind of get an idea of what they're going to want to attend before the actual day. And so it's all going to be live streamed on Twitch. And so you'll get to kind of get an idea of what you sort of want to attend, and all our information will be posted to our website and to social media, and that's going to come out very soon. We're just finalizing everything at the moment.
That sounds great. So Michelle, as someone who's run a conference, do you have any questions for our Swapposium folks here?
Sure. So I know planning the Gateway conference was kind of an experience like I'd never had before. So really, what's your favorite part about planning and just in general, favorite part of conferences like these?
My favorite part is just getting to connect with all the other teams that come to all these conferences and seeing all the new creative workshops they have in store for us.
Yeah, I've always, last year I helped run Swapposium, and I'm doing it again this year. And I really appreciate the effort that comes on everyone's part, whether it's our team and the task force on SWAT that works so hard responding to my many emails, and as well as all the presenters and everyone, and FIRST as well, who promotes it, and everyone who promotes and attends. It's really, the event is made by the people that attend. So I'm just so appreciative of that. And that's, like Joanna said, my favorite part is just connecting with everyone and attending all these incredible seminars.
That's such a great message, that it's about like the people who attend, because it really does, it's what you put into it. So that's a cool way of thinking of it. I know you said you're going to have like full schedule and bios coming out shortly. Do you have like a sneak preview that you want to tell us about? Any special presenters that you can let the audience in on right now?
Sure. Well, we have Girls of Steel presenting from the States. That's
from Pittsburgh, Team 3504.
Yeah, that's exciting, because the one benefit of virtual is that it's an easier reach. So we can have more attendees who don't have to get to Oakville. We can have more presenters that don't have to get to Oakville, which is really nice. We have, what I really love about Swapposium is the variety. So we have some workshops that dive into like the really super technical aspects, like drivetrains and stuff like that. We also have we have a SWAT 77 alum that's presenting one that's more robotics and university and career pathways, which I'm really excited to kind of hear about. So it's like FIRST, there's something from everyone. There's technical, non-technical, there's after FIRST, there's stuff like that. So it's really something for everyone, which is interesting.
That's super cool. Is there anything, like there's so many conferences going on. Like what's like the most unique thing that's like specifically SWAT about the
This year we have a social taking place during our lunch break. So there's a Zoom call that's going to be going on, and we'll have the link to it in our social media as well as the Twitch accounts, and you can access it during lunch.
Well, that's pretty neat because I think people are missing that. I think that's the one thing with these virtual events. It's like, because you love these virtual events because you go and you see people and you hang out. So having the social is cool.
Yeah. No musical chairs this year, so hopefully the social kind of makes up for that.
Well, I mean, that's been brought up in chat that there was like an epic musical chairs game last year, and so like people were looking forward to that. And people also, I guess there won't be cake, which is I guess a little bit disappointing, because
Cake
that's
is also my favorite part of Swapposium.
yeah. In general, for any event, cake is my favorite thing. If you tell me there's going to be cake, I'm probably going to be there. That's just
Probably boosts our attendance a little.
yeah, a little bit, but people can just like this is your excuse to go out and buy like I often will just go out and buy a birthday cake for myself, and they'll be like, oh, whose birthday is it? I'll go, someone's, so
Someone's. It's
yeah,
true.
yeah, go buy some cake or something like that. Oh, Mr. Redner says there'll be 2 cakes next year, kind of make
We'll
up
go for it. We'll go all out.
yeah. And so now, for you two as organizers, 'cause I think a lot of people are getting used to this virtual world. Like, have you like had to like learn new skills to like organize a digital event as opposed to like in-person event?
Definitely. It's in some ways it's a little easier. Like there's no coordinating room numbers and ordering food and stuff like that. But it's also like trying to find ways to kind of connect more virtually. So like working on that aspect as well as like first does such a great job of live streaming these events, and like that's what I'm figuring out now is how we're gonna like live stream everything and make it like really easy to watch and stuff like that. So I'd say that's kind of what we're figuring out right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the live streaming portion. I mean, like all of us learned this just a few months ago. Like back in March, we were used to doing like in-person events, and then it's like, okay, well, we don't have in-person events. Let's do this show, and everyone was like, well, how do we do it? And I was like, you figure it out, and we got like a great team of producers who are experts at this now, and like Emily from our youth council, who's actually our youth council producer now, helped run the 2056 event recently, so that was pretty cool. Michelle, do you have any questions right now?
Yeah. Would you guys have maybe any advice for someone else who's looking to run a conference like this, or just generally running a virtual event like this? I know there are a lot of great kids in FIRST. Maybe they want to run something in their community school or, FIRST itself. So any advice for someone looking to run in a virtual event?
Yeah, I'd say personally, I'd say goal setting at the beginning is the most important part. Like our event Swapposium falls under our capstone, which is Unite. So the real goal of Swapposium has always been to unite the FIRST community. So, and I think having that goal in mind while you're planning the entirety of the event is super important. So whatever, as long as you have, and it's also a team effort, so never try to do something like this on your own. Let your team know, have a good group of people, and then set your goals, and honestly the rest will kind of follow.
That's very great advice there. How many people do you have working on this?
So it's a whole team effort, and then we have a few more people that kind of lead it. Joanna's been really amazing this year, helping me out, and then we have a specific task force of 12 girls on our team that are really, really crucial to the planning of it. But it is a whole team effort, and we also have SWAT girls presenting as well. So team effort, and then 12 that are on the task force that are super, super dedicated.
Well, first of all, it's so cool that you have this many people interested, and that's like a powerful team there. Hey, we got a question from chat. It's from none other than the legendary Swaggy P himself. He wants to know, do you have more room for presenters?
You know what? If you fill out the form that is in our Instagram bio right away, as soon as possible, then we could take more presenters.
All right. So the message I got there, and that was Sam's nice way of saying, do it quick, do it now, because they're trying to finalize their schedule. They got to get these bios together, post it all on social media. So
exactly.
don't make their life more difficult. But there is a little bit of a window right now. So maybe if you can get that done before the end of the show, folks, it'll be ready for Sam and Joanna when that's going on. So you said you've been doing this event, well, SWAT, not you specifically, but SWAT's been doing this for 10 years now. Is there a special 10-year celebration or anything like that happening?
Well, you know what? If it was in person, we might have been able to have something, but you never know. You'll maybe just have to pop into the social and find out.
I mean, the social sounds like a good time. That is really exciting. Did either of you have a chance to attend any of the other conferences that happened earlier this year, like the 2056 Ways to Win or the Gateway Conference?
I went to the 2056 conference.
Yeah, what did you think of that one?
I loved it. My favorite workshop there was the scouting workshop. I have a soft spot for scouting. I love it.
That scouting workshop by Shankar Manoharan and Oliver Mao is, like, in my opinion, the best scouting presentation in all of FIRST. Like, forget about just Ontario, like all throughout FIRST. Like, they did such a good job. I didn't see this year's one. I watched like the first 5 minutes of the YouTube video, but I've seen it before, and it's like so detailed and intense and everything like that. So it's kind of cool. And that brings up a question. After the conferences, will people be able to, if you they say they're busy on a Saturday or they have something going on, will they be able to watch these conferences?
Yeah, so all of the workshops are archived. So there are conferences happening at the same time. So workshops happening at the same time. So they're overlapping, but they're all archived, so you can watch them later.
That's very cool. And they'll be on like SWAT YouTube channel, I guess, or something along those lines. That's another nice piece for accessibility because, everyone's busy and there's a lot of stuff going on, but being able to watch it at your own convenience, and like what Michelle said, like about hobbies, like for so many people in this community, robots is their hobby. So it's like, okay, like I don't want to deal with school right now. I'm just going to sit and like watch like 6 hours of Swapposium tonight. And so
It's a good way to procrastinate.
yeah, forget about binge watching The Mandalorian. Actually, don't forget about binge watching The Mandalorian because it's so like really, really good. But let's watch some Swapposium in there as well. Well, we're about time to wrap it up, but I was wondering, Sam, Joanna, any final words, anything you want to remind our audience about?
Yeah, well, thanks for listening to our segment. I just encourage everyone to come out to Swapposium. It's super easy. Just Twitch live stream. You're always going to learn something. There's something for everyone. Super fun event, 10th year, very exciting. And as Joanna said, there are workshops that overlap, but they're all going to be archived. So it's also kind of cool to have access to later in the season, because maybe if you have a question about something and it's like a technical thing, you can go to a workshop and learn a bit about. So I just really encourage everyone to come out. It's going to be a really fun day.
Yeah, well, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Joanna. And like, first of all, you're clearly putting a lot of time into this. And that's really exciting. So thank you for giving back to the FIRST community, and thank you for being here, and thank you for, being connected with us. We really appreciate it. So we're going to be back in a bit. Kahoot challenge is coming on. So Sam and Joanna, get your cell phones ready to play some Kahoot, some good Kahoot trivia here. But before we do that, we're going to have a word from one of our sponsors. Hey, and we're back, and now it's time for our favorite segment. Well, maybe it's not our favorite, it's my favorite segment, the Kahoot Challenge. And we're going to get things started. Introducing first, we've got our challenger. He is a FLL and FRC alum, drive coach and lead mentor for Team 4476, and is going to be presenting on how to make a pick list and good stuff like that at Swapposium on the 28th. We got Brennan Bibic here. Hey, Brennan.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Glad we could have you. It's been a while, but I'm excited to see, because you've been playing the Kahoots. I've seen you in the chat, and you've been doing pretty well at all of these.
And been up there.
Yeah, and I think you would probably do better in the live show, because the live show you get the questions like a couple seconds earlier, so it gets you some extra points. But you got a big task ahead of you. You're going up against Champ. Champ is here. That's right. First Canada alum, FRC and FTC head rep, and lots of other volunteering stuff. And I hear she's the director of outer space. We got Miki Corneil here. What up, Miki?
Not much. How are you, Karthik?
I am pumped. I am ready for you to defend your title, because last week or 2 weeks ago, you really put a beat down on Rishi. Like, it was just like, I think you got like 6 questions, 5 questions, and he got like 1. So it was like,
Sure, we can go with that ratio.
yeah, I know he only got 1. So even if you just got 2, that was like a beat down on him. Sorry, Rishi.
I'm fairly certain I got at least 3, but I don't know past that.
And I think you got the double value one for the arranging for the banners, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big one. Spoiler alert, there might be one of those in today's trivia. So we got a lot of good stuff here. I'm going to put Michelle on the spot here. Michelle, who do you think is going to win? Is it Brennan or Miki?
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay, I'll go Brendan. I have my faith in you. Don't let me down.
All right, Brendan, she got faith in you right there. Hey, so all of you in the audience, you can play along too. Just join in. Let's get this game started. And as we're getting it started, as we're joining, I'll tell you what the prizes are. And the prizes, first place is a First Canada fanny pack. Second place is a First Canada moleskin notebook. That's fancy. And third place is a First Canada toque. So start joining in. It's www.kahootit.it, and the pin is 256 4329.
Excellent. And to make it even more interesting, I think we'll do another bet this week. Should we?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm all for gambling. I mean, not really, folks. No.
Okay, so I say that if I win, Brennan will get me something from the Big Apple. I'm not sure if people have been by Kingston, between Kingston and Toronto, there's the Big Apple, which has lots of apple treats. And then if Brennan wins, I will get him something from Krispy Kreme.
You're on.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right. This bet's exciting, but I just got to say, I just paying attention to the chat. Brennan, Miki, you got a celebrity here to watch, the two of you. And our celebrity is Frank Merrick is in the chat right now, taking a look at what's going on here.
Nice.
So like the pressure is on. Frank, shout out Frank. It's good to see you here. Frank, are you going to join in the Kahoot and play along? It's First Canada trivia. So see if you know your stuff here. We could have like a mini battle between Mark Brenner and Frank Merrick going on. Like we got the directors going on. So we got 21 players right now, and I think that's pretty good to get started here. We'll give it a couple more seconds.
Let's start. Okay.
What was that, Miki?
Oh, Miki wasn't in yet, I don't think.
Oh,
it wouldn't let me.
I mean, I would win then, so.
It wouldn't let me pick the tiger one, but now I am Shining Urchin.
You're Shining Urchin. What about you, Brennan?
I am Noble Yak.
Noble Yak. Yaks are noble, And Tamil Yak is an Aranamata. There you go. It's like one of the few Tamil words I know. Just throwing that one out there. All right, I think we are good to start. Michelle, you feel ready for this?
Yeah, ready.
Hey, Brennan, Miki, let's do this. Kahoot challenge time. Let's go. All right, our first question is, how many Canadian provinces have been represented on Einstein at the first championship? 2, 3, 4, or 5? How many Canadian provinces have been represented?
If I don't get this, I'll be really sad, but I also won't be surprised at myself.
Yeah, this one's a little bit tricky. I think people should pay attention. I think we've mentioned almost all of these teams before. So, two of the provinces are in the picture right there. So, given away right there. But we got 21 answers in, so that means I think everyone's ready. So let's take a look at the answer.
Ooh.
The answer is 4. Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, and then British Columbia are the 4 provinces. Miki, Brennan, you get it right?
I did.
I feel really bad, but I forgot Quebec.
Which one did you forget?
I forgot Quebec.
Oh, no.
No. You have to remember Quebec. They're a part of our dominion. They're great.
I know. I went to their regional twice.
Man. Oh, we're going to tell Gabriel and X. They're not going to be cool with that. Hey, Noble Yak, you're in first place. So
off to a good start.
You got work to do, Miki.
I remember BC. Doesn't that count?
Oh, no, we have to get all of them. In this year's FLL Challenge game, what's the most amount of points you can earn from the basketball mission? And take a look at that photo there. There's an FLL Brennan right there. I pulled that one from the archives.
So I am reffing the challenge
practice
showcase
event?
or whatever practice event. and I'm gonna get this wrong.
Oh boy. So,
No.
well,
I'm running teams, and I think I also might have.
oh my goodness. So Mickey at least has the excuse as like a judge's rubric. So like she doesn't have to like know the scores. Referees just kind of check the box. Brennan, I don't know what your excuse is, man. All right, Emily, let's take a look at the answer here. It is 40. It's I think it's 15 for the basketball and then 25 points to the highest level. Brennan, you get it?
I did. I
Mickey?
got it right.
No.
Oh,
no.
Mickey.
What
Oh,
I don't
no.
understand is it says there's 21 people in this, but I am 22nd place.
That's not good.
I think it was 21 people who answered. And I think maybe someone who might have like dropped or something. But Noble Yak, only person who's gotten 2 right so far. So this is a challenge. Okay, let's see what we got next. Multi-select. What were the team numbers of the only Ontario teams to win the FTC/FTC World Championship? So you might want to select one of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, any combination. I'll tell you this, the answer to this was given away on 2 weeks ago on the show in the Kahoot challenge.
I remember this, and I remember getting it wrong, but I didn't bother remembering the right answer.
As they're working on that, what are you thinking right now, Michelle, about how things are going so far? Your Brennan pick seems pretty good.
Yeah. It's working out for me so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, these questions are a little tricky.
We don't mess around here. There's none of the softball trivia. You know, you do trivia sometimes, like these softball questions where it's multiple choice and like you can just throw away 2 of the answers because they're dumb. No. We go hard here in Ontario. That's why the competition's so good. So we'll let this one run down because we have 19 answers here. All right, the answers are 268 and 1114. So these were both actually Symbotics, but team numbers changed back in the day in the FTC world. So they wanted once is 268 and once is 1114. So half the people got the 1114 piece right, but only 8 got the 268 piece. So there you go. Brennan, you get it?
I did.
Wow.
3 for 3.
Mickey?
I got it.
There you go.
Third now, solid third.
Oh, Shining Urchin's coming back. You still got some room to catch Brennan, though. But at some point, we got a double value question coming up. So there's lots of possibility here. Let's move on to our next question. In the 2017 FRC game, what was the value of a tech foul? This is a throwback.
That was
Mickey?
Gears, right?
Oh, I'm not saying. I don't want to give anything away.
Definitely not Gears. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Brennan with the psychological games right now. Photo of one of our previous Storytime guests, Malavia Shah, one of the main mentors for Team 1241, Theory 6. Mickey, were you head ref in 2017?
No, that was the year before. I was supposed to be a head ref, and then I got demoted.
Oh no, you got demoted? What did you do? Was it probably because you were insulting beavers, our national animal?
I think I just said a bad joke, and they didn't appreciate it. But like
you do make a lot. You do make a lot of bad jokes. Like Michelle, when you go to an event, Mickey will just like, I'll be standing by her, and then she'll be like, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?" And it's just like terrible. She has a joke book with her when she reps.
I do. It's excellent. The students don't like it when I give them the joke when they come to the question box, though.
Shocking. The MC doesn't either. Actually, I gotta do. It's 25 points. You get that one, Brennan?
I did.
Mickey?
I was nervous about that one.
I did.
So what did you think? What were you nervous about, Brennan? Did you think it might be 50?
I've just been so into the tech foul of 2020. So I'm like 15? That just sounds familiar. It sounds right, but
no, because I thought a lot of people, we jumped ahead already. Noble Yak still up in first place. Let's hold off for 1 second before we move ahead because we got a little bit of time here. The reason I remembered that one is because I remembered that a tech foul was worth less than a hang that year. Mm-hmm. So the Thuvashan strategy that happened on Einstein when 1241 drove through the rope to block 125, even though they were giving up the tech foul there. And even, like that one, they gave up a free hang and a tech foul, but it still wasn't going to hit the 100 points or whatever. But that was a tricky one. So, but I didn't trick either of you. So.
No.
All right, Shining Urchin, second place. Noble Yak, first place. Let's go on to our 5th question.
Mm-hmm.
How many Ontario teams competed at FRC Worlds in Ontario's first year of district? This question is just me. Rishi made this question.
Mm.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know. And like the option, I came up with the options. My options were like not going to give away anything either. So there's some real thinking. But remember, it's proportional to the size of number of Ontario teams compared to the rest of the first population. So you could do like a little bit of a Fermi problem in your head to come up with a guess right there.
But if you're lazy with your math, those numbers are all kind of
Pretty close. Like you would have to be pretty, you know, or you could try and think back and remember. And that year, a Canadian team was on Einstein team 3683. Dave was there. There was a few on Einstein that year, actually, because 1241 was there in 2056 as well. You can see Rishi in that photo. You see Danny in that photo.
Yeah. You were kind of nice when you said Ontario teams and not Canadian, because that would have been more of a struggle.
Oh,
Oh no, Brennan.
I didn't think of that.
The correct answer was 34. Congratulations to anyone who got that. And got it without guessing, but with the distribution, I'm thinking there was probably some guesses there. Mickey, did you get it?
No, I went with 31.
Brennan, did you get it?
No.
I would have gone with 31 too, because that's usually where we're at the last few years. But I believe that year, 2017 was probably our highest proportion, and also I think there were some waitlist teams who got in as well, so that really affected it. There's a lot going on here. So interesting, Michelle, you're still new to all of this, but is this giving you ideas for that glossary you're making? Because Michelle's got this idea; she's going to make and the youth council are making a glossary of first terms for people who are new to the program.
Yeah, it is giving me a few ideas. Some things I'm like, what's this all about? But yeah. So some good ideas here. I got this question right. So
there you go. There you
just
go.
to flex on you guys a little bit. Just kidding, but
all right, Michelle might be the new champion. Brennan, Mickey, you're cut. Okay, so let's go on to our next question. Noble Yak, Shiny Urchin still up there, but Clever Piranha catching up. Are you Clever Piranha, Michelle?
No.
What are you?
I'm in 6th.
What's your name though? What's your
Melodic Impala?
Ooh, these names, they get me every time. Amiable Yeti. That's a nice one, because you know, I feel bad. Oh, Emily just jumping ahead on me. All right, okay. What was the alliance rate of completing at least one rocket at the 2019 Ontario Provincial Championship? 5 to 15, 15 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 45.
Completing a rocket.
Yeah, so this means how many times did it, like what percentage of alliances completed one rocket in a match?
I remember being there and reffing it, and I was just like, you guys aren't getting as many rockets as I thought you would be.
No, the defense really stepped up at provincials. So that was a thing.
Maybe I was on the wrong field.
But as someone who spends a lot of time looking at alliance insights, I thought this would be a fun question. I think we're going to do one of these going forward now, but the ranges are like very generous here, so that's why we gave the 10% wide windows so people can guess. But after we do this, I want to hear what people's logic was for the answer, because I like talking these things through. It's like Fermi problems are like my jam, so I love to hear how people estimate things. The answer was 5 to 15. Mickey, did you get it right?
No, I was being way too generous.
What did you guess, Mickey?
I did 25 to 35 because I was originally going to go with 25 or 15 to 25, but then I was like, nah, you're probably less than you think it is.
Yeah, it was 10.7, I believe. It was like a little bit lower than that in quals and then elims, and then like in the finals it was 3 out of 4. So
I am
like,
too positive. That's what I want.
Brian,
Better.
I got it right. Yeah.
Nicely done. As someone who's like a first statistician or whatever. Like, what was your logic on this, or did you just like remember?
Well, I know that, like, well, for my division, we played and we weren't really getting many. I think we maybe got 2 total at like, I don't know, 10 matches. I would have guessed actually 10% if I had to pick one. So
yeah,
it was pretty close.
Yeah, you were right on there. I think like the 11-14s and 2056s like only getting them like 50% of the time. But the defense, like basically in that, because it was one of those things like you attempt the rocket strategy, and if the defense comes, you give up on the rocket strategy and you spread and you go cargo ship. And so it wasn't that's like lots of teams. I mean, I'd say at provincials that year, there was probably 20 teams that had the ability to do a rocket on their own, but you know, it's so different when it comes to match play. Okay, still got a couple questions left here. We got a lot of time though, so that's why I'm just like chatting with everything.
No.
Oh no, you got. So when I was talking with the name, the Amiable Yeti, you know, because like people, like, Abominable Snowman, like, it's such a bad rap, you know, like in the Rudolph cartoon, which is going to be like coming up soon, you know, like everyone's like it's such a mean guy, but like this Yeti's amiable, so like say hello, it's a nice Yeti.
But he's stepping on my score.
Oh, that he is stepping on your score. He is stepping on your score, but you have a chance. But like, think about it, Mickey. It's like we always say, like there's two ways to compete. You can rise above your opponent, or you can drag them down. So you're just going to try and rise above the Yeti.
Yes, that's what I'll do.
Okay. All right. Let's jam to another question here. How many Canadian teams played on Einstein in the 2019 FRC season? 2, 3, 4, or 5?
Wasn't the Yeti in Rudolph, didn't he turn out to be nice in the end?
I think he did.
And like join the party?
I think Annika, FLL challenge program manager for Ontario over Canada, said that it was because he had a toothache.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. That was my favorite Christmas video as a kid.
Yeah, Rudolph's my favorite too.
Yeah.
All right, time's running out of this one. This one's a little tricky. I don't know. There's 2 of those Einstein robots are in that photo right there. The climb that didn't count. Pain.
The amount of calls I got after that, and I was just like, I can't see what they saw.
Got your answers in, Brennan, Mickey?
Yep.
All right, it's 3. Did you get that one, Brennan?
I missed one.
You'd missed one. And Mickey?
I did 4 because I knew it was 3, and I was like, there's probably someone I'm missing.
Oh, Brennan, do you realize where you missed one?
Because... not off by hand. Were they a backup robot?
No, there was a British Columbia team at the Houston Championship.
There you go.
Which is why we had the answer 4 provinces earlier, because that was British Columbia's first team on Einstein. See, we tie these things together. You know, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. So, Mickey, you overestimated. Brennan underestimated. And now we'll move to our last question. Oh no, Mickey, you're off the leaderboard.
I'm off the leaderboard, but
I'm on the leaderboard.
Who else gets the opportunity now?
Oh, Michelle's in 4th place on the leaderboard.
There you go.
And this next question, 2,000 points.
Maybe I can get back up there.
All right, these are my favorite ones. It's the puzzle, folks. Double points. Rank the following teams from most to least blue banners as per TBA. Team 1305, that's Michelle's team. Team 610, Team 1241, and Team 4039. And let me just say, this is challenging as well. It's really close.
This is really close.
Remember blue banners, you know, I'll give some hints. You get blue banners for winning events, winning divisions, winning chairman's awards, and Woody Flowers. So those are your different blue banners there. We've had some Woody Flowers award winners from these teams on this show before. So
I'm not as confident with this one as I was for the last one. When like the ranking one last week, 2 weeks
this
ago.
one I was kind of mean by me because like 2 of them are like off by 1 banner. But you know, like hey, you're all up for a challenge.
Whoa.
All right, Team 1241 has 24 blue banners. Team 1305 has 18. 610 has 17, and 4039 has 14. Mickey, did you get it?
I had 1305 and 610 swapped.
Yeah, that was off by 1. And Brennan, you get it?
I did.
Wow, he is good. All right, let's take a look at our final results here. All right, Agent Elk in 3rd place, Amiable Yeti in 2nd place, and our winner, wins the head-to-head challenge, wins the overall competition. Noble, yeah. Hey, to everyone who's out there, if you're on the leaderboard, take a screenshot right now and send that along with your username to communications@firstroboticscanada.org to claim your prize. Got a little bit of time here left, so I want to know, Miki, you have a chance to nominate any member of the first community to go up against Brennan, our new champion. And we've never had a defending champion retain their title, so like that's interesting. So, who do you want to nominate, Miki?
I want to nominate Gregor Browning.
Oh, wow.
That's a throwback.
Whoa, it's all happening here, folks. It's all happening here. Gregor is another person who is very, very good at first trivia. This is going to be a clash of the titans. This is Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. This is Ali versus Frazier. This is 11-14 versus 2056. This is going, it's 44-76 versus 13-10 to be like very precise right here. So this is a good one. Brennan, how do you feel about having to go up against Gregor?
I think that one's going to be challenging. You know, he's definitely been in first for a long time, you know, very active in the community, and it's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work extra hard here on coming up with these questions. Miki, I'll send you the question bank. So if you want to dump some questions in there, feel free. We let all our past contestants, Rishi and Lisa, have done some of that before. Michelle, what did you think of all this? First of all, your boy won. So congratulations on the correct prediction.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
And
these
so-
questions were pretty tough, and I think I did least to most, and I think I had it backwards. Whoops. But yeah, it was fun.
Some of them get tricky with the going backwards, but I think I like the banner ordering ones. I think that's going to stay. I like the Blue Alliance Insights ones. I'm giving people a heads up right now, like of what to study. But you know, watch First Canada Live. You know, because we answer most of these questions on the show. Before we go, Brennan, you said you're going to be presenting at the Swapposium. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about your talk?
Yeah, so my talk is something that I've been giving internally, I guess, to my team for a while now with kind of our process of taking data like one of my big things, I guess, that I've been not crusading, but you know what I mean? Like just putting out there a lot is data validation. So there's a lot of information on how to make sure that your data is good. I did a recent kind of poll / getting a whole bunch of data from 2019 teams and seeing how accurate it is. And, you know, to be honest, I haven't been super impressed both by my own team back in 2019 and other teams and their quality of data. So it's just, you know, a combination of that and taking the data to, you know, develop strategies with, and then also making a pick list off of that information as well.
That sounds like really exciting. If you don't mind me asking, like, what's the accuracy rates been of the scouted data compared to API data?
It depends on the team. Generally, like one of the really surprising things is a lot of teams scout or like just don't get basic things down. Like team numbers, like incorrect team numbers is a really common thing. Having the wrong team like match. So like a lot of teams have like 7 or 8 robots scouted playing in a match. And it's like, oh, how did that happen? But in terms of like the really verifiable stuff, you know, in 2019 there was like it was about 3 cargo per match per match off and 2 hatches. That's an average.
That's huge because like the average number of cargo and panels is not that high.
Not that much different. So when you look at that,
margin of error
so many,
of 100%.
So many teams are picking off of like, oh, well, they have one better average. It's like, well, your data doesn't actually show that. And what the other thing that was super surprising is like, you know, the really obvious things that I thought would be really good are like, you know, like climbs or what level they started on. You know, some teams are getting this upwards of like, you know, 30 to 40% of the time wrong, which is unbelievable to me that happens. So
well, it's interesting because, you know, and now we're just going to have like a random 5-minute talk because I have all the bright minds here. But first, one of the things that's difficult for first teams when doing a pick list is that we have everyone wants to like, oh, their average number is X and their max is Y or whatever, but the sample size is so small. Like when you're doing any sort of trial, you're not like study. You're not going to be like, oh, well, I have 12 data points for each thing. Like that's just not nearly enough. So in first, we're making decisions on limited sample sizes, and teams still do a decent job of making these decisions. But even more so, like if you have 12 data points and like 4 of them are bad, or like your margin of error, we're talking 25, 30, 40%. And remember, the numbers we work with aren't high either. So like if you're, you can really, if you're off by 1 or 2, it's like you could really be making decisions based on almost nothing. And so I know this happens a lot in the NFL, because one of the big things to look at is like, when should you go for the 2-point conversion and when should you not? But 2-point conversions happen so infrequently. And then this past weekend, there were 2 data points of failed 2-point conversions where teams either intentionally missed or weren't actually trying to go for 2, but it was registered officially as that. And then like one of the big NFL statisticians came out and was like, I hope all the statisticians out there are adjusting, because if you take those 2 data points into effect and you have a sample over the season of only like 62.2 conversions or something, your data is totally going to be thrown out. And so we see that in scientific studies all the time, where you have to watch your data. And I think this is important. Like we're being topical here, but we have all this talk about COVID-19 vaccines. And remember, like, take a look, see what the data points are. Wait, don't just trust a press release. Wait for it to come out for peer review and this sort of stuff. So
yeah,
For
and
sure, for
also
sure.
to tie into like other stuff in industry, I find it really cool how we're having this conversation about getting reliable data within FIRST and like our scouting, but like tying back to like I work in engineering and doing space hardware space development, and within our quality assurance and checking and stuff, we're looking at these statistics ourselves in terms of like how well we manufacture something, and being aware of the pitfalls of our numbers when we're looking at these things is something that I'm looking up and like trying to review. And it's just like, you guys are talking about this and you know exactly what you mean, but it's just like, I missed that part of FIRST somehow. And now I need to go back and learn it again.
And I mean, it's the most fun part. Like I know you love reffing. I know that's like good stuff too, but like this is the cool. Well, I mean, like emceeing is the cool stuff. Like let's be real. You get to like make fun of the ref, or make fun of the drive coach. Like
I don't know. I had a very rough moment earlier this week when I was talking to a PCB supplier, being like, "This doesn't meet the standard," and they're like, "But it meets this standard." I'm like, "No, I'm talking about this rule, not that one." And I was just like, "Oh, I'm in like the question."
You're back in the question box. You never left. There's a line up there. Don't worry. I forget his name now. Nips Bobby from 2056 is probably lining up in the question box right now, still permanently. So it's all good. It's interesting because like when we make decisions and first when you're like doing pick list stuff, it's amazing the mental gymnastics people will go through to try and bend the statistics to say what their preconceived notion is. And I see teams do this where I've been in pick list meetings where like, person's arguing for team A and saying, oh, well, look at this stat, look at this stat. And then like our lead scout will be like, oops, I didn't update my columns here. And I missed like 70 rows of data. And then they'll still make the same argument based on different stats. It's like, well, hold on one second. Like, our biases, like we have to be making data based on data, not our biases. And I think that happens in FIRST a lot, where people are making their decisions based on like, I love that team because they're so awesome, and this was a good random scouting talk. We should,
yeah,
maybe we should have like a scouting session in January, April. I don't know if we're gonna have.
Yeah,
thing,
that'd be fun though.
Yeah, I get get Mickey back on, get Brennan back on, and get like Shankar on, bring some of our
there's so
American
many different ways to watch the game and how to scout.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no best way, but we can debate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I like these impromptu conversations. This is fun. This is good. Yeah, I like this. But you know what else is going to be good? FTC Sim, which we're going to be talking about in just a minute, and we're going to be back for that after this video. All right, thank you, Frank Merrick, for joining us in the chat. Hope you had fun. Hope you did well at trivia, Frank. Because we need to get you some First Canada swag and all that. Hey, Michelle, come back. There you are.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, she left. I guess I'm on my own. I'll have to start singing Les Mis. It won't be a good scene. But now it's time to talk about FTC Sim. Michelle, are you familiar with FTC Sim?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I am really excited to learn more today.
Yeah, and we're going to learn more because we got some experts here. First off, we've got the legendary, he's a former computer science teacher, former mentor for Team 4001, currently first senior mentor supporting all programs with a focus in the Greater Toronto Area. He is none other than the merch master, Swaggy P, Paul Keenan. Hello, Swaggy P.
Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Oh,
I just want to clear up something, Karthik. Frank Merrick has a lot of First Canada swag.
Oh, he does have a lot of First Canada
He
swag.
does,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
he
Well, we
does.
can get him some more. If he came on the show, we could show us we are connected. We are
He's
connected.
been on the Ask the Experts in the past, so
Yeah.
he probably would come on if asked.
I've got one of
but
these shirts.
nicely.
Michelle has one of these shirts. Paul, do you have one?
You know, I don't. It wasn't in my mailbox when I went to check after Mr. Brenner came on and texted that he got his. So I went out in the cold to get it.
Well,
Walked up to the mailbox. It was a bitter disappointment, or as we say en français, une amère déception.
Well, you got a nice First Canada hoodie on. So thank you, Paul, for being on. And we got some of our student members. We got Victoria A, student on Team 5406 Celtex, where she's a programmer, a member of the First Canada Youth Council, also known as the community as FRC Doodles for her fabulous drawings, and was a co-host just a couple weeks ago. So welcome back, Victoria. And on the show, we have Alexander G, a student from Team 5015, SWAT Bots from Alberta. I think you're our first Alberta rep on the show, so that's exciting. And a member of the First Canada Youth Council. What's up, Alex?
Nothing much.
Got a fresh haircut there, looking good. And we have student on FTC Team 16397, Relatively Quantum, 2020 FTC Dean's List finalist for Ontario. Did some teaching this summer of FTC programming, so he's like an expert. We got Armaan S. What up, Armaan?
Hey guys, hi Karthik. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on the show. I'm excited to see everything that's going on. So, Paul, FTC Sim, we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show. We did a news update on it. But why don't you give our audience a refresher and a deep dive into what this is all about?
Okay, so I'm going to show a couple of screens here. I guess the first thing is that it's live now, so you can go to our website under the CAN code heading, and you can actually create an account. It's free, and you can get started on it. So there's a sample of what it looks like. There's a video about it. I just wanted to say that it's been in development for a while with a great company out in BC under the GUI, and it's been done, paid for through a CAN code grant from the federal government that was, I think, negotiated by the great Kim Cooper. And Dave Ellis, who's the FTC partner as well as VP for programs for First Canada, has been working with the programmers under the GUI to put it together, and it's pretty spectacular. I would like to mention though, I don't know if anybody's seen Dave recently, but he's involved in the Movember. So he's sporting this great mustache. Apparently they grow black. They don't always grow white. It's news to me, but I guess that's just the way it goes. Karthik, if you see him, you'll agree with me that he looks a little bit like Aaron Rodgers right now with that mustache.
You know, I was on a call with Dave a couple hours before the show, and I agree. He's ready to just start doing the discount double check right there. You know, he's got the mustache on there. So like, there are worse people to be compared to than Aaron Rodgers. So
this is true. This is true. So anyways,
always complimenting Dave Ellis. You know, telling the world that he's yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. I'm like that. So this is what it looks like. There's a whole bunch of mazes, they're calling them, or puzzles, we're calling them. There's where you do your coding. A lot of it it's not identical to the coding that you would do in FTC. It's blocks coding, originally from Google, that was handed over to MIT, I believe. And there's a version called App Inventor too, that you can do phone apps for your Android devices. And obviously, if you've seen FTC, it's using Android devices. But we have all sorts of coding sections that we can drag and drop in, sensors, as we're going to hear today from Alexander and Armaan. There's the logical operators, things for looping, for iteration, some math. There are some differences. So there's no telemetry. So if you've done FTC robot, as Armaan did this summer for a coding thing we did for teachers, there's no telemetry there, but you can use the text thing that's exclusive to PixelPad here and FTC Sim to do similar things. And of course, it's all autonomous. There are no game controllers to use to control it. So you're really just doing all autonomous. Every time you go to one of these mazes, it shows up like this. So this is your starting point. And then you're putting in these things to get the robot to go from where it starts to the flag. I'd like to point out, because I'm pointing this out because I just noticed this the other day. I saw someone do this. With your mouse, you can scroll in, and I thought it was just a blob of something, but it's actually, you can see it if I can control my mouse a little bit. It looks like a real FTC robot, except its wire looks a little bit better than the wire I have on mine, because there's no wire on there. But it's a great. I would, if I was still teaching, and I like to say about coding that coding is easy enough that even a French teacher could learn it, because originally that's what I did. I was a French teacher. That was what my qualification from university was, and I learned how to code. But if I was going back in the classroom, I would definitely be doing this in grade 10 at least, maybe even a couple of weeks for fun in grade 11. But like I say, it's great. And even if you're not doing FTC, I think you would enjoy this.
Yeah, well, Paul, I had a chance to do like a little run of this stuff. What I kind of like is it's like a puzzle, it's like a game you're playing, except instead of playing a game where you're like moving your character with a joystick, you're coding your character to move. So I'm all for this. So Michelle, based on what you've seen so far, like, do you want to like start playing around with FTC Sim?
Yeah, I know. I'm just want to pull it up on my computer right now. It's taking all in me not to just start it right now. Almost.
Well, and of course, there's many possible solutions. We'd all be doing it probably differently on some of these ones, which is the great thing about coding, right?
Yeah.
There's many solutions to the same problem.
And I think we're going to see a lot of those elements here, because we're going to have each of our student members come on and solve one of these puzzles. And I think we're going to start off with Victoria. Victoria, what do you have for us?
Let me stop my share.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen real quick. And yeah, I just have the first puzzle open. So I'm a programmer on an FRC team. So block coding is kind of relatively new to me. But this FTC Sim makes it like really fun. But yeah, I'm going to start with the first puzzle, and I'm going to do it live. I think Alexander and Armaan, they've already done it, but mine's very simple. It's just get a robot to the flag. So we're just going to do it live. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go into, not there. I'm going to go into the actuators. I'm going to go, try and control the motors. So
you just like grab a motor.
Yeah, let's just grab a motor. I think the first thing I'm going to do, if you open it, just it first tells you that the left motor is reversed. So actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set the power. I can set two of them at the same time. So I think what I'm going to do is set the power and just see what that does. And
the power is how fast it rotates?
I think it's just like, setting the power of the motor.
The power of the motor can go between -1 and 1. -1 is backwards. 1 is the maximum power, and you can go any variance within that.
Gotcha. So we got this going full speed.
Yeah, and as you can see, I didn't set the left motor to be in reverse. So we were just doing victory spins on the field, which is not where we want to be right now. So I'm just going to reset that and go back to DC motor, and there we go, set direction. Set that reverse, and let's see what that does.
Ooh.
So that's great, it moves. It goes right through the flag though, which is also not what we want. It's closer, but it's also not what we want.
And so with what Paul was saying about like there's different ways of doing things, could you have, instead of doing the reverse, could you have set one of the motors to -1, and would that have done the same thing?
Yes, it would have.
You want to try? I mean,
yeah, let's try it.
Yeah, let's experiment. Let's see. Okay. Oops, maybe I don't want to do that. Let's see if I can. That was not a good idea. Okay. Now how do I get back there?
It's programming. It's okay.
Excellent. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, that was not a good idea. Let's not do that.
I was sure I was going to do that. Make that mistake because that's my luck. But
Okay, we're just
thanks
gonna
for bailing me out there, Victoria.
disable the block.
Oh, does it disable? Okay, that's cool. So you don't have to
Yeah,
delete it.
I
You can just
cannot
disable
figure
it.
out how to delete it, so that's the next best thing I can do. Okay. Yeah, let's just set, left, I don't know, -1.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the same thing. Excellent, amazing. Okay, we're just gonna stick with that since I have that. Yeah, so it runs, it goes through the flag again, not what we're looking to do. So I'm just gonna pull up this. I'm gonna make it run for 1,000 milliseconds. Let's see what that does. Now, if you notice, it does the same thing because it didn't actually tell it to do something after the 1,000 milliseconds. So we're just gonna duplicate this. But we're gonna set the power, to 0. So it will actually stop after 1,000 milliseconds.
Oh.
But it's good.
Almost there.
Almost there. Almost there. Just a
Go
little bit more.
further.
So,
Go further.
yeah, a little too short. So let's experiment. Let's do like, I don't know, 1,500 milliseconds.
How about 1,503? I like 1503.
Okay,
They
yes.
were a great team.
1503. Let's go.
A couple of your mentors used to be on 1503.
That was perfect.
1503 wins again.
Let's
Isn't
go.
that something?
There we
Yeah, so
go.
that's the quick introduction. That's maze number 1 of FTC Sim. And I thought it was really fun knowing literally nothing about FTC. I got it to hit the flag with car
Okay.
fixing.
I thought that was awesome. That was super cool. And so, Michelle, you think you want to see another one of these?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely do.
All right, Alex. So you're up now. Let's see what your puzzle is like. Because now yours is a little bit like I think we set this up so they get a little bit more complicated as we go along, right?
That's right.
Yes. So I believe that this is maze 12.
I think so, yeah.
Alex, can you spin us around
Yes.
so we can see everything that's going on in that maze?
What?
Can you spin the field around so we can see like what?
Using your mouse to spin the.
Yeah.
Like a real picture.
Yeah, the real
Okay.
shop right there. Okay, cool. So tell us what's going on here.
So in my code, I'm using something called functions. So here under miscellaneous and then robot functions, you have this menu of things. And so each of these blocks, what they do is they basically group a set of commands together. And then when you use that function command, it'll run all the things you have inside. So it's a way of organizing your code. So you can see I have some pre-made ones here, like turning left and turning right. And inside of these, you can see that I've controlled the motors a little bit differently. So what I did is I actually am controlling the motors based on their position. So if you go into the actuator menu and the motors, you can see that here, set mode, you can actually, there's several different modes for running the motors. So what I'm doing is I'm running to a position, and then I have all these numbers which will set it to a certain position. And in my code, I actually use negative numbers instead of reversing one of the motors to drive. So under the forward command, you can see that this left motor is set to negative 1,100, and the right one is actually set to 1,100. And so what this will do is it will get us to this black box. So before I actually start coding, I'm just going to run the challenge to see what happens, because you can see that the flags are, there's actually 2 of them, one on either side, but they're blocked by these gates. So if I run it, you can see that one of these gates will open, and this square here will change colors. So when it's blue, the blue gate is the one that is down. And then if you get it to be red, the red one will be down. So what you have to do in this challenge is you have to figure out, how do I pick which way I want to go? So I can use the forward command that I've set up to get to the box. And then I'm going to show you the sensors. So under the sensors menu, there's a couple here. And the one that we want is the color sensor. So on this virtual robot, there's actually a color sensor mounted looking straight down, so it can tell what color is directly below it. And you can use these functions to read it. So these are like get, and then whether or not it's this. So it will return true or false based on the color. And the way you do this is you use a logic block. So you can use this thing called an if statement, which will check if something is true. And then you can use these colors to determine whether or not something is equal to it. So if I put in if get color 1.red, it will check to see if the color below it is red. And so when I'm on that square, I can figure out which color is the correct way to go. So if I put this in, first I'm going to do the forward command and also this position movement command, which I've also made, which basically just sets both the motors to run based on the position. And I'll put those up here.
And because those are functions that you created separately, so that's why they exist in there now. Okay.
Using this function menu, I just pulled one of these in. In here, you can put a name for it. So I've done position, movement, and forward, and then put these motor blocks in each one. So then if I pull those functions in and put them up at the top, that will get me to the square. And for some reason, when I run this code, it won't actually take me to the square. I don't know why. But when I actually finished the turning code, it did the whole thing. So I'm not sure if this is just a bug. I did try the same code on a different challenge to see if it would drive forward, and it did work. So I'm not sure if it's just my computer or something, but you can see I've already done this code for the colors. And when I add this in, it will actually run forward and turn. So in this code, I have a repeat block, which basically just keeps looping while it's running. And what this does is it keeps checking if the color is red. Sorry, this shouldn't be here. There we go. If the motors aren't busy, which is just a special way to check if they're moving. So this will tell me once it's done moving forward so that it doesn't try to turn when it's already going forward. So I check whether or not these motors are both stopped, and that way I'll know if I'm at the square. It will then check if the color is red or if the color is blue. And you can see that I'm turning right if it's red, because if it's red, this red gate will be down and I have to turn right to go through the blue gate. And if it's blue, then I'll have to turn left to go through the red gate. So I believe if I run this, it should work.
All right,
No.
it's blue.
Okay. Well,
I think sometimes, because I had these problems myself, if we leave this extra code over here that's not inside of a function, it might stop it from going. So if you drag these pieces of code that you're not using to the trash, you might, it may work.
I see, okay.
It did for me, but.
Yeah, I experienced a similar thing as well.
There we go. Oh, fancy.
So you can see that it turned towards the gate because it's able to read the color. So these are just some examples of ways you can sense the environment. So in this case, I'm using two. One of them is reading how far the motors have gone. So you can see I'm using that to turn. I set one going in one direction and one going the other direction. These numbers is just like guess and check. Similar to how Michelle or how Victoria was doing the driving forward and what the time should be. I figured out what the distance was just by trying it. So by running one motor in one direction and one motor in the other, it will turn either left or right. And then I also use the color sensor to figure out which direction to go in.
All right.
And I believe Armaan is also going to go over this distance sensor when he goes over his maze.
And we're going to get to that in half like a second here. Alex, any last things you want to say about your challenge here?
No.
Awesome. Well, thank you for showing us that the color sensor, like that's so cool. It just like drove over and like boom, turned the right way it's supposed to. So, all right, let's take it up to the next level here, Armaan. What do you have for us?
All right, so my challenge, as you can see, if I zoom out on the code, it's a little longer. And it's a bit of a more complicated challenge, but again, this software can even go more complicated than this. There's more complicated challenges. So it really has a high ceiling. So even your most advanced programmers on your team it'll still challenge them. And I've used functions similar to Alex, except my functions, you pass a parameter into the function, which is basically a variable that's going to be able to modify what the function does. So for example, I'm passing 3 variables here: power, how many encoder ticks, and the blocking. That way, because if I didn't do that, you see every one of these pink blocks in this long vertical command, those would all need their own functions if I did not do that. And that would be an even bigger mess than it is right now. So passing parameters is definitely a good idea. So you don't have to keep making functions for, if you want to go 5 meters or 10 meters, you can have the same function do the same thing by just passing a variable to it. I'm also, as he mentioned, I'm using the distance sensor. And you can see that in this function. So you can see that the software has pretty versatile in terms of what sensors it can use. And this is exactly how to use it in real life as well. So basically I can tell it to stop, let's say 10 centimeters away from an object, or whatever parameter is passed to the distance target. And we can see the simulation run really quickly here. And we'll see we'll see this, there's this trench that needs to be filled with boxes before the robot can go and traverse all of them. So we're seeing right now that the robot is going ahead and pushing the boxes into the trench. And we'll see sometimes that the boxes mess up because in real life, things are messy, and the simulator kind of emulates those real life conditions. Things don't happen perfectly in real life. You can also see over here, we have a version of it working. So we can see in this demonstration, we saw the last one, it didn't exactly work out. This one is going to work out. So again, it's emulating those real life conditions where sometimes your wheels slip, or sometimes you have friction, air resistance, all those different types of things. It emulates those conditions. And you can see in this scenario, it worked out the way we intended. Also, as Paul was saying, there's many different ways to solve these challenges. You're not locked into one option. So this challenge could have also been solved a different way, which is kind of, going over here, knocking one box in, going to the middle, now hitting the box all the way over, and then going to the last box and kind of taking a shortcut. So there's many different ways you can solve all of these challenges. And really it's about how you plan on solving it. And as you can see, it does get pretty complicated with what you're able to do.
Well, you know what that reminds me of, Armaan? It reminds me like of anyone who's programmed autonomous modes, whether it be for FTC or FLL or FRC. Like, the first time it's like, okay, you have a plan for what the mode's going to do, and then it does it. And then you're like, okay, how can we make it a little bit faster? Let's try things a different way. Let's hit this box and knock it further, and it's that same sort of thing. So, I mean, if I was playing with FTC Sim, like I do one and then like I time myself, be like, okay, I finished it in 14 seconds. Let's see if I can do it in 13 seconds or 12 seconds. Because that's exactly what you do with your FRC autonomous modes. It's like, okay, what can we do? Like, can we go pick up another ball? Can we shoot one more ball?
Exactly. And it really does give you that real life conditions of not being perfectly accurate. So you're striving to create accurate. So instead of using encoders, you're using distance sensors instead of just time, because it really is going to help you push. Because those are the conditions in real life. So it prepares you for real life by simulating those real world conditions.
And so, Armaan, you're on an FTC team, and I assume you do a lot of the programming for the team?
Yes.
So do you use the blocks environment, or do you use like Java or Python, or what do you use?
So there's actually 3 different kind of sort of ways you can code FTC robots. One is the blocks environment. One is called onBot Java, which is Java, and one is Visual Studio. Sorry, not Visual Studio, Android Studio. I currently use onBot Java, which is the text-based version. But when I started, I totally used blocks code. And blocks code is actually I still currently use it for some things. Like if I forget the syntax of a certain command in text, if there's a cool thing, because you can go and it'll actually it'll generate the text version of your blocks code. So if you forget a command, it'll actually generate that for you. So you're actually able to drag the block in. See, like, oh, that's how you do it in Java. Okay, copy it, take it over. So I still do use blocks, but I sort of migrated over to Java just because, as you can see, controlling this at a large scale might become a bit more challenging, and whereas text is a little bit more manageable.
I've always found with block programming, the one thing that drives me crazy, it's just like your screen just gets so big and unwieldy and whatever, and so obviously I learned in a text-based environment. I'm a text-based programmer, but like now when it comes to programming robots, I always, like, I can't do it for FRC, but for FTC, FLL, and other robots, I always grab the block thing, because it's like, I just want to make the robot move as quickly as I can. I don't want to spend too much time on the code, and blocks are just like grab, pull,
And you don't not have a great way to get started though. Like if you're just getting into it, you don't need to remember any of that syntax. And again, it's really easy to transition from blocks into text because it shows you the text, so you can learn that way.
Yeah, and I really recommend for anyone out there who's on doesn't matter, FLL, FTC, FRC team, and you've always been like, yeah, I want to program, but like I don't know anything, and like the people who know how to program are so much faster than I am, and they're so much better. Just start playing around with this, because this is how you learn, and you'll be ready to like jump in and like, it's November right now, and I know everyone's very busy with school, but like, we talked about Michelle earlier about hobbies, like you want to learn to program, like this is a great way. And then like when the FRC season starts, like you'll be ready and rearing to go and just be like, yo, I programmed an autonomous mode to like push 4 blocks and jump over a trench and open a door and go to the flag. And they'll be like, whoa, we just try to drive straight and get our 5 points for getting off the line.
Another great thing about this is like with our COVID restrictions, right? We can't always meet in person to actually work on the robot. So you can actually test out a lot of your ideas and algorithms on this virtual simulator and then bring those thoughts to, the physical robot. So that's another great thing about it.
That is really cool. Now, is it a question for all of you, Paul, anyone? Is it easy to share code? Like, for example, if I started working on this project and it was like, I'm stuck, Michelle, can you help me? Can I send my code to Michelle?
No, it's not. It's not easy yet. But like I said, they've been working on it with Dave and under the GUI for a while, but not for a long time. And there's going to be adjustments made, I think. So one of the things that you could do if you do App Inventor is on the screen where you write your code like Armaan's got here, there's a backpack off to the right-hand side of the screen, and you can drag sections of code into that backpack and go to another, create a new app in the App Inventor, which is this same block code. And then you can drag it out of the backpack so that you're not constantly rewriting the same thing. So that would be a great feature if we had that in here.
And I guess for right now is like, I could be like, hey, Michelle, like, let's hop on a Zoom call and I could share my screen and then be like, Michelle, what am I missing? Michelle, what am I missing?
Yeah.
No, but an
You could
alternative to that is if
also,
you're working in a
send-
school environment, you could share the same account,
Yes.
and that'll save your progress. So if you have the same account, multiple people can work on the same project if you have the same login details. So that isn't a workaround for right now.
This has been awesome. FTC Sim is great. I think we should all go and play with it and whatever. Maybe we can have like FTC Sim tournaments where we have like a leaderboard or something like that. I'm just thinking of ideas. But Paul, Swaggy P, any last words? Anything you want to talk about? I think you wanted to show some tutorials.
Yeah, so if I could get the screen back there, Armaan,
Sure.
for a second. So you might say, well, I how am I supposed to do this? I don't know how to do this. Well, you can go to, you can search for FTC Blocks Tutorials, and there's a whole list of tutorials here. I would, if you were doing it, start at number 5, because the first 4 short tutorials deal with setting up your phone and so forth on your robot, and you don't have a robot that's a real one anyways. And this will give you an idea. So I've gone back and forth. You can see, it doesn't say how many times I've watched these, but it's more than one. I'll just tell you that right now, because as you get older, you forget a little faster. So, and what I would say is that, as Armaan indicated, you could do these, you could program that robot, but trying to program without actually having a robot is very difficult. So if you had a virtual robot, it makes it much, much easier. There's only so much you can do. I think this is going to work unless you can test it and see other options. That's an important thing to do. So the blocks tutorials here from FTC, they're directly from HQ, are quite good.
Well, this was super, super informative. Thank you, all of you, for being on the show. This was great learning about FTC Sim, and I think, we might. I'm excited. I want to just go program now. I want to code. So this is good stuff. But I think it's time to kind of wrap up the show. Michelle, do you have any thoughts to close us out? Your first time co-hosting here. What did you think?
Wow. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really liked hearing from all these different people. I loved hearing about the other conferences as well. The FIRST community, I think we really are putting out a lot of great conferences, and even lockdown, well, not lockdowns, but like even restrictions and all that, even that's not stopping us from educating others and spreading good lessons and all of that. And the coding, so much fun. And the little talk about scouting, I learned a lot. I didn't have much to add to that, but I was just kind of soaking it all up, So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I guess, it all kind of comes down to like, like we are connected. And so like things are different this year. Things are, like we aren't in person, but there's good stuff happening and there's lots of fun going on. So I see everyone out there, just like stay connected with your teammates, stay connected with your friends on other teams, don't forget about just because you're not seeing them at events right now, connect. And We'll be back here for another episode of First Canada Live next week, where we get co-hosted by Julia M. from the First Canada Youth Council. And we got a really good one, because a lot of the times our alums or, students are like, oh, I need to find an internship, but I don't know how. Well, we're going to bring in some of the coolest first alums we have who are all doing like really cool jobs, had amazing internships. Miki, who was on for the Kahoot and was talking about doing her outer space stuff, is going to be on. We've got people who've worked at Google, Facebook, Tesla. These are all first alums, not much older than all of you, talk about their experiences and how to get these best internships. And then we have a great story time that I'm really looking forward to. The legend himself, Dirye Hassan, alum from Team 188, who's just like this amazing speaker and hilarious dude, and also loses to me in our fantasy basketball pool every year. But he's going to be on the show, so that's going to be great. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Anything to close us out, Michelle?
Yeah, definitely everyone come and watch next week. I know I'll be there. And, stay connected and stay awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Stay safe. Thank you to our producers and our moderators in chat, to all our guests, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.